Hey guys, I'm Dana B. Myers. How are ya? Welcome to this Wednesday's Facebook Live. If you don't know me already, I am a love, sex, and relationship expert with a focus on moms, and I'm the founder of the brand Booty Parlor, and I'm also an author of 2 books, my latest being The Mommy Mojo Makeover, 28 Tools to Reclaim Yourself and Reignite Your Relationship. Most importantly, I am a mama of 2 kids. We got our flu shots today. That's another story. I am a happily married wife to my husband and business partner, Charlie. And again, I want to welcome you to my weekly Wednesday Facebook Live series, where every week I'm going to be exploring common questions and topics as they relate to self-love, sex, and relationships after kids. And today, I am going to share what I think is the one thing all couples should do to keep their love lives alive. That's a mouthful. To keep their love lives alive after kids. Now, I usually don't use the word should. Oh, I'm sorry, the lighting is changing here. I usually don't use the word should, right, when I'm writing or coaching or speaking, because every woman, every mother has her own unique journey, her own unique relationship, and needs to kind of uncover her own unique pathway when it comes to her best version of self-love, sex, and relationships within the experience of motherhood. So I usually make suggestions, right? But today I'm going to give you a should, a must do, a real must do, I think, if you want to keep your sex life alive and fresh and consistent within the chaos and mania of parenting. Because we all know, right? We all know what happens when we become moms and dads. There's sleep deprivation. Sometimes there's confusion around our identity and who are we now. There's a loss of freedom. There's a lower libido. We can frequently experience mismatched sex drives within a relationship that can cause friction and distance. There's also just a lack of privacy and time, right, for self-care and romance and all the good stuff that we enjoyed before kids. And of course, while we know this, while we often experience this ourselves as mothers, there's also some facts to back it up. I recently sponsored a survey of 500 moms on topics like body confidence, sex, relationships, and identity after kids. And I found that, here's a couple stats for you, 84% of those moms agreed that their energy level has a negative impact on their love life and relationship, right? I know I've experienced that. And 68% of those moms reported that their satisfaction within their sex life has declined compared to before they had kids. Again, so not a surprise, but just backing it up with some stats from that survey. If you're watching this, I'm gonna bet you're a mom and that those stats are no surprise to you. And so if you do have that feeling like, where did my passion go? And will we ever get out of this sexual rut? And will my libido ever return? Will I ever want to choose intimacy over Netflix? You will. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for joining me. Let me see the comments here. Hi, guys. Yes, Janelle, it changed more than you ever could have imagined. Hey, Stephanie. I'm glad that you're here. We are going to take a look, again, at this one thing. I don't want to bombard you with a whole series of things because I know that approaching this issue in your relationship can feel overwhelming, especially because you've already got a to-do list that's a mile long, which is, again, why I only want to give you one thing. Just one thing that you can do to keep your love life alive after kids, right? And I don't want you to just listen to what I'm saying. I want you to do it. So make that little promise to yourself right now. As an experiment out of curiosity, I'm going to do what Dana suggests I do. Okay. I want you to schedule in time for sex. Listen, that is where you begin. I repeat, I want you to schedule in sex, preferably at least once a week, every week. Okay? Because what most couples with kids will tell me is, we don't have time for sex. We're overcommitted. We're busy with our jobs, with commuting, with kids and family and commitments, and then we're too tired. So we're too busy and we're too tired. But the problem here is that, well, yes, I totally get it that you're tired and you're busy. What I see happening to so many couples is that you are prioritizing so many other things, but not your intimate relationship, right? And if your sex life needs help, then you actually got to put the time aside to work on it. I know it sounds obvious, but a lot of couples don't put the time in, which is why scheduling sex is such an effective tool. Because the practice of scheduling sex, it brings intention and attention to your sex life in a really practical, actionable way, while still leaving tons of room for creativity and flow. Because I know that for some, you're listening to me and you're like, planning sex is a drag, planning sex kills spontaneity, I don't want to do it. But it doesn't, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more on that in a minute. So, how do you actually schedule sex? For me, every week I sit down with my calendar, which is over there, and I map out where in the week I'll be having sex with my husband. Examples might be a quickie on Tuesday night once the kids are asleep, or a longer creative session on a Saturday when I can get the kids out of the house at activities with friends, or if my mom can take them for the afternoon, or if I can book a sitter. Now, I look to find windows in my calendar where I can create privacy, space, where I'm looking for moments where the kids aren't going to be around, or I will be actively making arrangements for them to be elsewhere. And I will actually write all this down in my calendar, so every week you will see sex on Tuesday night, you'll see this on Thursday, you'll see that. So what I do is I look in my week, I plan it, I write it down, and then I will share that invitation with my husband. So boom, right? It's an invitation. It's not an obligation, it's an invitation. And invitations are fun. Who doesn't like to get an invitation to a party, right? This is an invitation to a party in your relationship. So once it's written down, once it's communicated with my partner, then we both have something to look forward to, right? So think about this in your life. You set a date, you communicate it, you have something to look forward to build anticipation for. And I think most importantly for us kind of tired, overstimulated moms, this kind of scheduling then allows for us to really manage our energy, right? So if you know you're going to meet for intimacy on a Tuesday night, then you can proactively manage your energy. You can ask your partner to put the kids to bed while you go and unwind and transition from like busy mom to sensual woman. You can make a choice. You could choose to leave the dishes, leave the cleanup for later so that you don't feel depleted by that routine, right? Who feels depleted? Hi, I do. If I'm cleaning and making sure everything's perfect. You can plan for the kids to be out of the house. You can plan for that coverage. You can plan to take a bath and decompress. And again, just prepare your mind and body to be open to the possibilities of pleasure, right? That's exciting, being open to the possibilities of pleasure. If you only ever wait for burning desire to strike you, right, at exactly the right moment, when the kids are asleep and you magically have a huge surge of energy at the end of the day, I think you'll be waiting a long time to have sex. So if you look at the rest of your mom life or your work life, scheduling is a really effective tool. We apply it to almost every area of our mom life. We plan what we're going to make for our kids to eat. We plan out their activities. We plan out family vacations. We plan out our work deadlines. We plan out our budgets. And so we also need to plan for our sensual lives and that intimate bond with our partners. You got to create the time to nurture that, right? When you plan for something, it means it's a priority. It says you intend to do it, literally, and then it prompts you to put your attention on it. So what I know for sure, and why I chose this topic today, is to just convey to you that when you put intention and attention on this very important part of your life with a little bit of planning, even once a week, you are going to see amazing results by way of consistency, frequency, and connection in your intimate life. So that means, again, you look for windows of opportunity, you write it down, you communicate it, and then you take action to put those plans into place. Now, I want to circle back and address some of those initial concerns about planning that I often hear. So there's this common concern that planning sex is a drag, and that it should just be like, when you first met, spontaneous, hot, erotic, lusty, I have to have you now. But let's be real. Like, not only does kids having kids demand more planning and routine in your life at large, right, for family life to run smoothly. But the question is is having that new relationship energy after being together for years and years and running a household together, is that actually realistic for you to expect to consistently experience that spontaneous lust? No, it's not. It's not realistic to expect that. I think the truth is that while it's normal to miss and crave that spontaneous lust and that spontaneous passion that you used to have, the key here is that planning sex can actually help you create better sex, right? Because when you plan for it and you prepare for it in mind and body, what you're actually doing is opening up the playing field for higher quality sex to happen. And what I mean here is that when you have the intention, right, to make love, when you think about when's it going to happen, what's going to happen, what might I like to try, what energy would I like to bring and receive, you're bringing thoughtfulness and creativity to the whole process. And then suddenly sex isn't like that disgruntled quickie where you're just doing it to check it off the list because you feel obligated to do it, right? Like, you're mentally watching the clock to be like, okay, only a few more minutes till I can go watch my show. No, then suddenly with that intention, with that planning, with that creativity, then sex becomes renewed and interesting and more pleasurable. So the byproduct, right, of scheduled sex, week after week, when you do this consistently, the byproduct is that spontaneous sex will start to return to your relationship because you'll be more in practice, you'll be more in flow of frequent pleasure. So when your partner does spontaneously initiate or invite you, your body and mind is going to remember like, oh yeah, wait a second. I like this. This felt good last week when we met. This feels good for our relationship. And so then your natural response to your partner will become more of an organic yes, instead of the immediate like, oh, no, or I have to do this just to tick it off the list. So even though you or your partner might feel like, oh, planning sex is so unromantic, I really want you to ask yourself, what is more unromantic? Scheduling sex and showing up for it and consistently having that pleasure and that time together, or being stuck in a rut and in a cycle of pressure and rejection and feeling friction over mismatched sex drives. I think the answer to what's more romantic is pretty obvious. And then the second thing I want to quickly address when it comes to scheduling is that when you set aside the time for sex, I don't want you to think it always has to be like actual sex. I want you and your pressure to take that, I want you and your partner to take that pressure off, right? Less pressure, more pleasure. So you can schedule in an hour of intimacy every week and just explore physical touch that doesn't lead to anything, but that still gets you both in practice of connecting in a sensual way. And talk with your partner about this, right? Talk with your partner about taking the pressure off. Hey, let's meet and just explore, passionate kissing. That doesn't have to lead anywhere. And yet, this will still be a super positive practice for nurturing that passion and that spark, because just having that regular physical contact, right? Instead of being like ships in the night, just getting things done for the family, it's like putting gas in the car, right? Just meeting and touching and kissing once a week is like putting gas in the car, and you got to put gas in the car if you want to get anywhere, right? So what I'm saying is that while 100%, I use the word should, I'm going to use it again, you should make the time for regular intimacy. It doesn't always have to be sex, okay? Take that pressure off if that's where you're at, right? Meet yourself where you're at, right? If you hear me say, oh my God, plan to have sex once a week, and you're like, I am maybe having it once a month. How am I going to get from here to there? Just put a little gas in the car, meet once a week for some touching and kissing without expectation, without pressure. Just talk that out with your partner, or sit down with your partner and watch this video and let me be that third person in the room to help get that conversation and that understanding going. Now listen, the one thing I want you to do, the one thing I think you should do to keep your love life alive after kids is plan for sex. Bring that consistency back, bring that intention and attention back. You make time for all the other things in your life, or you try to. There's no reason why the same principle can't be applied to your intimate life. Yes? Good. Put it into action. Get out your calendar. Look for those windows and mark them down. Yeah? And please share this video with another mom who you think might need to see it. And also, like I said, share it with your partner. Let this be a conversation starter for you guys. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. I want to keep these short and sweet. If you like what you heard and you want more inspiration and tools to feel like a more satisfied mama, to have better communication and better intimacy in your love life after kids, you can click on the link in the description. It's going to take you to a free class on getting more help and ending resentment. And if you just go to danabmyers.com, there's a ton of resources on self-love and sensuality and better intimacy with your partner once you guys are parents. So check that out. Amazing. Thank you again. Every week, I'm going to be doing a weekly Wednesday giveaway of a product from my brand Booty Parlor. This week, it's a big one. It's a kit. It's a kit that's going to help bring some creativity to your weekly sessions, okay? It has the Don't Stop Warming Massage Oil. It has a kissable cooling gel, which is very sexy. And then it also has this is a little dice that you can play with. You can actually put it in the refrigerator and cool it down. So this whole kit is about exploring different temperatures and different sensations on the skin. All you have to do to enter it is to leave me a comment on this live. Tell me, what do you think about my suggestion or my instruction that you should be planning sex at least once a week to keep your love life alive after kids? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you have any more questions or if there's anything you want me to talk about on upcoming Facebook Lives. And I will see you on the next one. Thanks for joining me, guys. Bye.